I began my journey today at the AQC, or the Australasian Quilt Convention, by looking at all of the past winners of the Raja Award. And this award has been running for all 20 years that AQC has been in existence. And the Raja Award is a honour that's presented annually as part of AQC, and it recognises outstanding contributions to Australian quilting, including work as a teacher, designer, author, or guild member. This award is in tribute to the historic Raja quilt from 1841, which is currently pictured. The Raja exhibit here just started with a quilt that was entitled Raja Revisited. And this is a loving recreation of the 1841 quilt. And while we have a look at the quilt and then go down the line of all the previous winners, it is something you can only win once, and you are nominated for this award by the community. So what that little note said just there that I zoomed in on before was Raja Revisited. That's the quilt title. The quilt maker was Lisa Seigel, and she was the winner of the Raja Award in 2007. The pattern for this recreation of the Raja quilt was created by Lisa Seigel with permission of the National Gallery of Australia, and it is available to purchase. The original quilt is a medallion style quilt with 12 borders, and it measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/3 meters. Now, I'm not going to do that conversion for you, but that is larger than 90 inches. And Lisa's version here measures 167 centimeters, which is just under that 90 inches square. The original quilt was rediscovered in Scotland in 1987. The inscription on it reads, "To the ladies of the convict ship committee, this quilt worked by the convicts of the ship Raja during their voyage to Van Diemen's Land is presented as a testimony of the gratitude with which they remember their exertions for their welfare while in England and during their passage, and also of proof that they have not neglected the ladies' kind admonitions of being industrious. June 1841. Then it finishes on that little note by saying, "Thank you, Lisa Seigel, for kindly donating this quilt to Gary Fitzroy and Judy Newman of Expertise Events, so it may be displayed at AQC." Next, we'll move on to a brief exhibit by the previous year's Raja Award recipient, whose name was Brenda Gael Smith. If I read from Brenda's website, which I will link in the description box below, this is how she describes her work. "I create textile paintings and sketches made from a rich palette of my hand-dyed fabrics, complemented by extensive textural stitching, demonstrating the transformative power of stitch. Abstraction is persistent and insistent force. Working improvisationally, I capture the essence of my subjects to impart a sense of wonder of the natural world and a strong affinity to place. Daily walks are a creative habit integral to my studio practice, whether I'm home or traveling. By closely observing my surroundings and taking hundreds of photos, I have a bountiful inspiration bank that informs my work. I also embrace the serendipity factor. From the dye pot to the design wall to the sewing machine, I'm always open to the possibility of a glorious accident." Next, we had a look at some Australian Red Cross quilts, and from the Australian Red Cross website, it says here that the Australian Red Cross is a volunteer-based organisation that exists to reduce human suffering. With 110 years experience and a community of 18,000 plus members and volunteers, we act locally and connect globally to deliver what's needed when it's needed most. And I've just paused here on this little blurb about the Red Cross, and if you would like to read that a little bit more, you can pause the video and do so. The quilts in the next section that we're going to see, as you can see there, is the QuiltCon travelling exhibition, and from the AQ website it says QuiltCon is the largest modern quilting event in the world presented by the Modern Quilt Guild. See the best of modern quilting in the QuiltCon 2026 travelling exhibit. This selection of quilts from the February 2026 QuiltCon exhibition has come direct from the convention held in Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. And then it goes on to list all of the quilt makers that are included as part of this section of the exhibit. This next little section highlights quilts from the Studio Art Quilt Associates, and the theme for this regional exhibition was opposites, and it was to explore the links or tensions between opposites, ideas, personalities, perspectives, the natural world. We encounter opposites in many ways in our daily lives. Sometimes they represent conflicting ideas, but other times they are two halves of the same one. Next was a really interesting exhibit called the Rainbow Stash Series, and this was from 2025. And just reading from the AQC website, I keep saying AQS, but you know what I mean. It says that the 2025 Rainbow Stash Series brought artists together in shared creative experiment in colour. Each month, a single colour was selected live during Zoom and paired with a randomly chosen word prompt. Every participant worked with the same colour and the same word, using the chosen hue as the dominant hero of their piece while interpreting the prompt through textile techniques, surface design, stitch and personal storytelling. The result is a remarkable collection of over 280 original 10-inch square textile artworks, each one distinct, yet connected through a shared starting point. Featuring makers from New Zealand, the USA, Switzerland, Australia and beyond, this international exhibition celebrates the power of limitation to spark innovation and the extraordinary diversity that emerges when many artists begin in the exact same place. In 2025, 123 artists from around the world participated in the international contest, Avant-garde. Each quilt impressed the judges with its technical mastery, creativity, and striking beauty, making the evaluation process a true challenge. Presented by the Care for European Patchwork meeting in France, the contest is a highlight of the International Quilting Calendar and celebrates innovation and artistry in contemporary quilting. A curated selection of finalist quilts was on display at AQC, featuring artists from Australia, Finland, Greece, Germany, France, Hungary, Italy, the Netherlands, South Korea, Spain, Switzerland, and the USA. The exhibition showcases the extraordinary talent and creativity of quilters worldwide, offering visitors a unique opportunity to experience the pinnacle of contemporary quilt artistry. And that is just read from the AQC website, like many of my other little statements today. These next two parts are quilts from a category called Teach Me and the Best of the Queensland Quilt Show. Now, Teach Me is quilts that are have been made by each of the tutors or people that are running certain classes as part of the quilt convention for that particular year. So they just display a few of the quilts from the people that they have there as guest artists and speakers and things like that. And then the best of the Queensland Quilt Show, I think, is self-explanatory. And you might see someone familiar in just a moment. The next series of quilts that we look at will be all of the finalists in the AQC challenge, and each year AQC invites quilters to enter this challenge and be part of the quilting event. There are cash rewards on offer, plus if you are selected to be a finalist, your quilt will tour all the different exhibitions and quilt shows that the AQC challenge is part of. And the theme this year was connections, and all you have to do is create a 90 centimeter square quilt using your own unique interpretation of that year's theme. So here are all the finalists in the AQC challenge this year with connections. This one here with the menorah in the background really grabbed me. It was in reference to and in memory of the Bondi massacre that happened at the Jewish Hanukkah event, and it really just got me in the feels, so to say. believe it or not, we were only just about halfway through this exhibition. This year's showing was huge, and myself and Heather, who keeps popping up in the footage here, were actually at this exhibition and walking around for 2 hours. And I think with the rest of what we've got to look at here, there's just another 30 minutes of quilts. So I totally understand if everybody drops out and doesn't watch the entire video, or even perhaps watches it on double speed. What we're looking at now is just more quilts from the people that are doing classes at this year's event. You'll notice the little plaques on here do say teach me, and there are quite a lot of these. And then we just go through some general exhibition quilts. They really didn't have labels or categories or anything. And then towards the interview, the end of this video, I do show you who quilts from the overall winners for this year, and best in show gets $10,000, and wait until you get to see that one. Please enjoy now the funky music. It's called Road Trip, while we view what's left of the exhibition this year from the Australasian Quilt Convention. This little section here is from the Taiwan Patchwork Quilt Association, and it was the first year that they've had quilts in the Australasian Quilt Convention. And the Taiwan Patchwork Quilt Association is a group dedicated to promoting quilting as an art form, blending traditional Taiwanese cultural elements with modern techniques. They showcase works featuring rich, colourful designs and are recognised for their participation in international events like the Houston International Quilt Festival. AQC was also honoured to showcase a collection of quilts from some of the nation's most accomplished quilters under a theme of Taiwan and the world. Even more special, they also welcomed several of the makers themselves to the event, offering a rare opportunity to connect with the artists behind the quilts. As promised earlier in the video, we now look at some of the overall winners for the Australian Quilt Show with the quilts that you are seeing pictured here now. The overall best in show is a cash prize of $10,000, and it will be not the last quilt you see, but we are getting to it in a moment. And I'm sorry I didn't zoom in and get what each of the ribbons were and stuff. I just was in awe of the quilts, and I was actually busy while I was filming this talking to some ladies that were sitting down behind me and just excusing myself for popping in front of them because they were just sitting there taking everything in. And this quilt here was the winner of Best Quilt in Show, and the lucky creator of this quilt got the big check for $10,000. That almost concludes our tour of the Australasian Quilt Convention for 2026. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.